Can I beat a Pokemon Emerald hardcore Nuzlocke with only shiny Pokemon? So first things first, the rules. If a Pokemon faints, it's considered dead and must be permaboxed or released. We can only catch the first unique Pokemon on each route. We must nickname every Pokemon, and as for the hardcore rules, we can't use items in battle. Held items are okay, and we can't overlevel past the next gym's ace. And lastly, we can only use shiny Pokemon. If you guys do enjoy this challenge, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more, and let me know down in the comment section below who your favorite shiny Pokemon is. I'll get this out of the way quickly. This is a modified version of Pokemon Emerald, where the shiny chances are 1 in 1024, just because this would take me literal years if I were to use normal rates. Not to mention, Emerald is annoyingly difficult as a lot of its shiny encounters are based off RNG manipulation, and that's very annoying. So this is just a modified way to let us see some cool shinies while challenging ourselves in the process. I decided to start with Mudkip as it is my favorite shiny out of the Hoenn trio, and it just look at his cute little bitch, it's just so adorable. And during my hunt, I hit about 6 shiny Zigzagoons in a row, and as I mentioned before, Emerald is very frame heavy. So I decided to just wait a couple more frames, and within 2 more encounters, we have our shiny Mudkip. We name him Troy, and if you can guess the theme of the nicknames, comment down below, and if you get it right, you'll get the fattest shout out in the next video. After thrashing Maze Trico and getting Pokeballs, we catch Wurmple and name him Pierce. We then catch a shiny Poochyena who we call Neil. And in this next route, there is a small chance to find Ralts and an even smaller chance for it to be shiny due to its low spawn rate and our increased shiny rate. However, we found it within a couple of minutes, but I'll let the clip play. Oh my god. There's no teleport or growl. Oh god. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. Generation 3. Growl, 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 growl. Oh, thank god. Try Mud Slap. One more. I don't want to risk a crit. Why I went for that last Mud Slap, I'll never know. But hey, these things happen. And just to rub salt in the wound, we almost lose Pierce to an overly clingy Poochyena. But we send in Troy, who intimidates him enough to leave us be. We then run into Wally, who not only has a better relationship with our dad than us, but we also have to sit there and watch him not crit his Ralts into oblivion. On the way to Petalburg Woods, we catch a shiny Marill and name him Arbed. Please don't get attached. But unfortunately, we sometimes make friends as quickly as we lose them, and due to poor luck, Troy is brought to 9 HP by a Zigzagoon, and the only one who can take a hit and possibly dish it back is Arbed. But since he isn't huge power, Tackle does negative damage, and 2 tackles take Arbed out. Really, not the best start, but Arbed's sacrifice leads to Troy's growth, as he's able to find the courage and finally tackle the raccoon turd into the dirt. We lost our first Pokemon before the first badge. This is nothing less than tragic. But hey, we got a Shroomish in the next encounter, which is hella sick, as Breloom is a super strong Pokemon and I think its shiny is hella underrated. So I'm more than happy with this. By the way, we called her Britta. Before taking on Roxanne, Pierce evolves into a Silcoon and then again into a Beautifly. And honestly, Pierce is super helpful for this early game, especially against May and Brawley, but we'll get into that later. We also catch a shiny Nincada who really isn't important and will only be a slave to us. But with everyone up to the level cap, it's time to take on Roxanne. And with Mudkip, this battle is pretty easy, as Water Gun basically just sweeps her whole team. And after the battle, Troy evolves into Marshtomp, which gives him Mud Shot, which is huge as Troy has a jolly nature, meaning his water type attacks are a bit lackluster. We swim over to Dooford, and after doing some training, it's time to take on Brawley, who is also an easy sweep with Pierce as he 4 times resists fighting moves, and if you haven't noticed, all of Brawley's Pokemon are fighting types, and the only offensive moves they have are also fighting types, so Pierce blows Brawley away with its gust, and it's time to move out. After defeating Brawley, we catch Annie, the shiny Magikarp, and Vicky, the shiny Minim, which isn't the best looking shiny, but as a kid, I love Plusle and Minim, so it'll be fun using Vicky in this run. Before heading to Watson, we have the notorious third fight with May, and this fight can be a run killer, since the second stage starters are super strong, and her team is pretty balanced for this point of the game. But let's hope we can get through this with 0 deaths. She starts off with Wingull, who falls to 2 tackles. 2 tackles. Jesus, say that 10 times fast. Next is Grovyle, who can easily 2-shot Troy if not 1, so I switch into Pierce, who 4 times resist her grass moves and hit it back with 2 super effective gusts. See what I mean? Pierce is a monster. Then she brings in Slugma, who gets thrashed by a Mudshot, and there we go, no deaths. And before moving on to Watson, Annie evolves into Gyarados and Britta evolves into Breloom, learning Mach Punch, a move that always goes first. And with our new upgrades, it's time to take on Watson. Now, even with Troy, Watson scared me, as if Troy falls, he can easily sweep our team with Manectric. So I decided to lead with Britta. This is so Troy doesn't take any chip damage and to avoid a paralysis, which can cause problems in the future if we're unlucky. His first Pokemon is Voltorb, who falls to a couple of Mach Punches, same as his Electrike, who tries to set up a Howl. He brings in Magneton, who also falls to 2 Mach Punches. Jesus. Britta is cleaning up. He sends in Manectric, and it's time to bring in the Big T himself, Troy, who ends this quickly with 2 Mudshots. That's 2 super stressful battles done with 0 deaths. While heading to Flannery, we catch a shiny Numel. While an awesome shiny, Numel is kinda bad as he struggles from the IGN syndrome, too much water. We then catch Buddy the Machop, Baker the Spinder, and then Mail for the Lumbre. I'm gonna skip the Magma stuff as it was pretty boring, but we do catch a shiny that I've never seen before, a Spoink, and it looks pretty slick. We catch it and name it ET. We get to the level cap and it's time to take on Flannery. We take out Numel and Slugma with only 1 Mudshot. Camerupt takes 2 Mudshots and sets up the Sunny Day, which will boost Torkoal's overheat and weaken our water moves. Torkoal is actually pretty spooky as it's super tanky with a defense stat of 140, so this is going to take a while to get through it. And our team is pretty weak to overheat, so I'm getting a bit nervous. We switch into Neil to sack him, praying Torkoal went for the overheat and drops its special attack, but it just goes for Body Slam. We send in Annie so our Intimidate consumes the White Herb. We fire off a Dragon Rage which does barely 50%, meaning if we go for 2, she'll just use potions. She uses Attract and continues to spam Body Slam. She eventually gets the Para, so instead of risking Annie to Para Love, we switch back into Troy and fire off a bunch of Mudshots. After she heals to full HP, it takes about 3 more Mudshots to take her out, but that's another gym done with 0 major deaths. But I think if she went for overheat, we were in trouble. Before taking out our neglect issues on our dad, we catch Julia the Trapinch and teach Bulk up to Britta. And with our daddy issues in hand, it's time to take on Norman. He starts with Spinder as I set up a Leech Seed. This is so we can heal any damage we do to ourselves in confusion, as Spinder loves to spam Teeter Dance. And he lets us set up 3 bulk ups, but as Bridget takes too much damage, I think it's time to spam Mach Punch. 1 Mach Punch takes out every single Pokemon except for the Slacking, who dies to Mach Punch after Leech Seed ship. So with that, we prove to our dad we are not to be messed with, and he better show up to my next birthday party. And yeah, so I kind of forgot to record the part where we catch a Voltorb. We called him Jurgen, or Jurgen. I'm gonna guess it's Jurgen. And we get TM Thunderbolt and Ice Beam. So I mean, with that, let's go back to the recorded part. We catch Greendale, the Wingull, and Leonard, the Zigzagoon. We sweep through Aqua, but we can't use Cast Form as it isn't shiny. But we do take the Mystic Water and put it onto Annie. While training for Riona, we sadly get crit by a Laloon's Headbutt, meaning mentioning Jurgen wasn't even worth it. So we bring Vicky back to the team and it's time to take on. Riona starts with Swablu, who falls to a couple of Sparks, and then in comes our Ace Altaria, who I T-Wave to keep speed control. We just barely live an Earthquake on 15 HP, and predicting another Earthquake, I switch into Annie. But thanks to the Para, we still outspeed even after 2 Dragon Dances. And with 3 Dragon Rages, her Ace falls. Next is Tropius, who takes Dragon Rage a little bit better than Altaria. She then proceeds to spam Synthesis, draining RPP, and after setting up Sun, those heals are even stronger. I go for a bite, trying to bring it into range of Dragon Rage, as Annie bites a bit too hard and gets the crit and the flinch, allowing us to vomit our rage onto it and take it out. Next is Pelipper, who takes a bite and a Dragon Rage, but after like 4 bites, we finally take it out. And in comes Skarmory, who just barely takes 2 Surfs, and brings Annie to 9 HP. So we switch into Troy and finish it off with 1 last Surf, and that's our 6th badge. While fighting a trainer, Julie evolves, and man does it look awesome. Those orange rings are so sick. With Julie evolved, it's time to battle May for the last time, and in comes the Littlefoot ripoff Tropius, and we start hammering it with moves, but they're doing nothing. So I switch into Pierce, who takes out Littlefoot, but not without taking a huge amount of damage, putting Pierce at risk. Troy destroys her Slugma, and then in comes Grovyle, who is terrifying, but we have a counter. So I send in Pierce, who eats the Leaf Blade like a champ. But then Grovyle goes for Pursuit, which we don't take nearly as well, and with one more Leaf Blade, Pierce falls. You've done well, brother, and we won't forget you. With her rage, Annie finishes off the rest of May's team, and while losing Pierce is sad, he was outliving his use, but I was hoping he'd live a happy and long life. To make things worse, we try to catch a shiny Shuppet, but well, it'd just rather die than be a part of our team, which seems a tad unnecessary. Like, we aren't that bad. Greendale does evolve into a Pelipper, and we catch Elijah the Gloom. While in the Magma hideout, Troy evolves into Swampert, and we easily deal with Team Magma. But not so easy is Tate and Liza. I've always hated this gym so much, so let's get into it. My main strat is to simply spam spread moves and pray. They start with Xatu and Claydol. I want to get rid of both of them because Xatu tends to set up Coal Mine and Claydol likes to spam Earthquake. But if they get a Light Screw up, we're in trouble, since water moves are special, and they can also doubly weaken it by going for a Sunny Day, so as long as both don't get the setup, we should be fine. I start by targeting Claydol with a Hydro Pump and using Muddy Water, as there's a chance to drop accuracy. Claydol lives with just a slither of HP, meaning we back to full next turn. Xatu confuses Annie, making this much more stressful. I decide this time to target Xatu down, and it also lives on around 1 HP. So it's also going to be full HP next turn. Annie then hits herself twice and Psychic brings her down to what looks like 9 HP. But we can't heal. So I make the biggest, ballsiest play. I stay in with Annie and Hydro Pump Xatu, risking both the miss and the confusion. But it pays off as Hydro Pump brings it down to around 2 HP and Troy Surf takes out both Claydol and Xatu. I switch Greendale in for Annie as she brings out Lunatone and Solrock. Solrock charges its Solar Beam, and honestly, I didn't notice while playing, but this could have been awful, as Solar Beam is guaranteed to kill Troy. Greendale doesn't even get to attack as it takes a Solar Beam and Psychic to the face. And well, Greendale was expendable, so I'm not too sad. I switch back into Annie, and with a crit, the Double Surf wins us our 7th badge. We easily destroy Archie with Britta and Annie, and at the end of the fight, Julie evolves into Flygon. While heading to the next city, we find a shiny Chinchou and name him Subway. Subway quickly evolves into Lantern, who's honestly a highly underrated Pokemon. More love for Lantern, guys. We evolve Elijah into Vileplume. Now for the 8th gym battle. We start working out in front of Love Disc, and after that we just start destroying chins with Sky Uppercut. One takes out Love Disc, one takes out Celio, one takes out Kindra, one takes out Wishcash, one takes out Crawdon. My god, Britta has just been a beast this run. I decided to skip the victory road as it is super boring, so it's on to the endgame, baby. Sydney is an easy battle, as with a couple of bulk ups, Britta sweeps his team with Mach Punch and Sky Uppercut. But Phoebe is awkward for me since I don't really have a plan other than big moves do big damage, so that's what I do. I start with Flygon, and with a Fly, that Protect is gone. That was a bad joke, and I'm not sorry. And after another Fly, I try to use Earthquake, but due to confusion, Julie takes too much damage and we have to switch out into Subway, who barely misses the KO with Waterfall as we get hit by a Confuse Ray. I switch into Elijah, and with a combination of Stun Spore and Petal Dance, we take out her first Dusclops. She brings in Bayonet, and with the Psychic, it's time to switch into Troy, who with 2 Muddy Waters takes it out. Back into Subway, who almost dies, and then into Annie, who with a couple of dives takes out the next Banette, and half shots Dusclops as we switch into Julie, who ends the battle with 2 Earthquakes. And now into Glacier, who's another victim of Britta's absolute gains, as we sweep with Bulk Up and Sky Uppercut. We did get super lucky by dodging 2 Ice Balls, and then it's a clean sweep. Now onto Drake, who I thought would be the easiest sweep, as Ice Beam is Giga Strong versus team. But for some reason, my brain went, no. We taught Annie Hyper Beam, and we shall relive our 12-year-old dream and sweep with only Hyper Beam. And well, that's what we do. We go for 4 Dragon Dances and one-shot Sheldon with Strength. As he brings in his Salamence, he falls to 1 Hyper Beam, which is physical in this game. We have to recharge the next turn, but I think since we have speed boost, the AI tries to catch up by using Dragon Dance as well. So from here, it's a combo of Drake goes for Dragon Dance and I go for Hyper Beam, and like that, I've made my 12-year-old side of my brain very pleased. And now it's time for the final battle. It's time for Wallace, and I really wanted to end this run with our number 1 strat, the Britta Bat. We go for bulk up as he misses his Blizzard. We go for a second bulk up and he misses a second Blizzard. We then crit with our Sky Uppercut, taking out the Whale Lord. Next is Milotic. He has no chance of taking a Sky Uppercut. Tentacruel does live a headbutt and retaliates with a super strong Ice Beam, but since he has to heal, we get 2 Sky Uppercuts off on and Tentacruel is finished. Wishcash also falls to a chin destroying uppercut. Even Ludicolo can't take the shredded Britta's attack. But Gyarados can, and he steals our strat and uses Hyper Beam to end Britta's reign of terror. And with a heavy heart, we send in Subway to finish the run. And with that, we beat a Pokemon Hardcore Nuzlocke with only shiny Pokemon. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you have any other challenge ideas, let me know in the comments, as this wasn't really the hardest challenge since Pokemon Emerald has really good Pokemon. Like Breloom basically swept most of the boss fights, and that's a very early game encounter. So I want to do something more challenging next time, maybe a monotype run. But yeah, let me know in the comments below. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you all in the next one.